an event. It's an international event. It's called 269 Life. That's the group. We are international. There's 70 countries, 70 cities doing this. I don't know the numbers. They just keep changing. We are just here with a bunch of other groups from the city here in Edmonton. We have Vegans and Vegetarians of Alberta, Voice for Animals, of course 269 Alberta Life. We also have Direct Action Everywhere, that's also joined us, and Farm Sanctuary out by Wetaskiwin. And we're just here to raise awareness by our performance about what's the plight of animals that's happening all over the world every second of every day. And our performance just basically shows that every being is the same. We all have the same flesh, blood, tissue, and it's just not right to do this to any being. This is what it's about. It's just raising awareness. We also promote watching Cowspiracy, that's now on Netflix. And if you can, watch Earthlings. Watch it with a friend. And what it makes you feel, just remember it's not about you, it's about the animals and what we've done to them. We need to stop this. There's no reason to do it anymore. A bunch of us are vegans, so plant-based. We thrive. We're supposed to be herbivores, not carnivores/necrovores, because you're eating decaying flesh. It's actually a necrovore type of way of eating.
What kind of reaction have you been getting so far?
People are looking interested. Some people are very angry. We're here just basically, it's not about them, it's just again about the animals and our planet and our humanity, and we just want violence and oppression to stop. And we believe that once you stop killing, there's going to be peace on earth, and it just makes sense. There's a beautiful book written by Will Tuttle. It's called Diet for a Peaceful Planet, I think it's called. It's wonderful. He words it so eloquently about our food, our relationship with food and our planet and who we are as beings. And we just need to stop and look at what we're doing. People know it's wrong. They know, they feel it's wrong. And it's no longer an excuse to say, I don't want to see it, I don't want to hear it, I don't want to talk about it. It's no longer an excuse. And we won't stop until every animal is free. There's vegans all over the world. We're just thriving and growing in numbers. And we are becoming the norm. That's inevitable.
Right. Is there anything else that you want people watching this to know?
Just watch Cowspiracy, watch Earthlings, and if you really love animals, stop eating them, and they need your help. They need your help now, so help them.
As a community, we have faced the issue of bullying for as long as there have been differences between people. It is as if being different from another person gives people permission to hurt, to criticize, to hit, and to kill. Manmore's determination to start this campaign stems from his own dramatic experience in 2012, when he senselessly witnessed a man take another man's life in the form of violence. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are here to raise awareness against bullying and to encourage people not to be bystanders when it takes place. It begins in our home and in the hallways of our school.
In our market society, profit and non-profit organizations have taken on enormous power and influence in our lives. We must learn to be more careful about how we use these organizations. They are not independent or autonomous beings. We create them and give them power. As citizens, as consumers, as employees, and certainly as managers and directors, we must commit ourselves to creating workplaces that are positive and constructive. Don't settle for platitudes about empowerment pasted on walls. Demand and implement higher standards so that we build organizations that enable us all to be joyful, supportive, nurturing, and have honest work environments.
At Edmonton Catholic Schools, we have a firm policy of zero tolerance for bullying. We need everyone's help with that. We need no innocent bystanders. Bullying is unacceptable at any level for any reason.
I want to tell you tonight about 3 simple words that we can all use. 3 simple words that have the potential to make a big difference in the lives of bullying victims, sexual assault victims, domestic violence victims, dating violence victims. And those 3 words are, I believe you.
Bullies do not come from outer space, but from amongst our own communities. They are white and people of color, religious and atheist, super straight and closet gays. They are part of you and I. They are human beings who are scared of diversity and change. They see themselves as victims and defend their threatened existence through social barriers, supremacism, and hate.
In 2008, my son Alex chose to end his life due to bullying and depression. I felt there were many hurdles placed before us in getting the right help and support that he needed. Bullying, abuse, and violence are concerns that need to be addressed. As adults, we need to become aware of how we are treating others, as we are the role models for our children. Sometimes we're not even aware of how our behavior affects others. Changing behavior is a process. Bullying is a learned behavior. And anything we learn, we can unlearn through education. This is not the nose I was born with. Everyone in my family has what my mother calls affectionately a ski jump nose. Straight down, turned up at the end. Mine is different. I have a little bump. When I was 14, a girl took the same bus as me, began to make snide remarks about my clothes. I was a creative kid. I wore some very quirky stuff. And one day she showed up at my school, tried to pick a fight. When I refused, because then, as now, I don't think fighting with other people solves much, she slammed the heel of her hand into my face and broke my nose. So now I have a bump. A small one. It's hidden by my glasses. But it's there, and it reminds me what it means to be the victim of a bully and to survive that.
And we've heard tonight about the various forms of bullying. It takes all forms, really, from overt to subtle. But I think it can also be, in some ways, invisible sometimes. I grew up and went to school in an era when homophobic remarks were casually dropped, and it was widely tolerated. When kids were sometimes deemed, kids who were deemed effeminate were ostracized. And when I went to school, which really wasn't that long ago, my experience was that teachers sometimes turned a blind eye. And I've seen firsthand the damage this kind of inaction can do to our kids. And in fact, and the long-lasting impacts of not providing a safe and caring environment in our schools. And while I'm glad that I think our school districts have come a long way, we need to continue to be vigilant about supporting kids.
I remember in grade 7 standing around in a circle outside the bathroom, and there was about 10 of us girls, and one gal was being attacked, one by one. They were just coming like shots, and they would just rip through her heart. And each one was to cut her down and to make her feel like she didn't count. And as I watched what was happening, it was happening so fast, and I looked inside Millie's eyes, the gal that was being attacked. I looked inside of her eyes, and I saw her face, and she was trying so hard to be brave and to hold back the tears. And my heart was crushed. And I saw what was happening inside of her.
And all I could do, everything just welled up inside of me. I couldn't even speak. And I turned around and I ran into the bathroom, just crying my eyes out. And I stayed in the cubicle. And one of the gals who was in that circle came into the washroom. And I thought she was laughing. And inside I thought, man, I just don't get it. I don't understand what's going on here. Later came to realize that something had struck inside of her, and she was crying. My dad waited in the cubicle, so I just couldn't move. And on my way home, I was walking alone. It was a Friday night. When I got home, I got a phone call. And the phone call was, Sherry, are we still going to have the party tonight? Because many of those girls were going to be part of the party, and it was going to be at my house. And I says, no, there's no party tonight. They said, well, we're sorry for what we did. And I said, you know what? You don't need to apologize to me. You need to apologize to Millie. I said, okay. They phoned her, and they apologized. And they called me back and they said, we apologized to Millie. Can we have the party? I said, we can have a party if you invite Millie. And she's part of it. So they did. They invited Millie. And she became part of the party. And from that day forward, Millie was part of our group, and she was never bullied again in that junior high school. I learned that every one of us had a voice, and that an advocate or a victim needs an advocate, and they need you and I. They need you and I to stand up for them. And so I just want to encourage you tonight. Would you stand up for someone who's being bullied by someone else? You and I can make a difference.
Hey everyone, I've been in Edmonton for 20 years, and before that I survived a civil war in the Middle East. As a child, I saw violence every single day. People were mentally, psychologically, physically abused. And the most difficult thing was to stand and watch and not have voice. Very difficult to not be able to do anything in the face of injustice. So for me to be able to speak up, I'll never take that for granted. And I see it truly as a gift. I admire Manuar's effort and work in making sure that we remember that gift and never take it for granted. The person who lost his life in the crime that Manuar witnessed will always be living through all his actions. And Manuar, I will always admire what you do. Friends, you know what? Bullying is everyone's business. It's not enough to talk about bullying. It's not enough to think about strategies against bullying. We need to act every single day to make sure that bullying does not happen. And what Manuar witnessed and what I witnessed when I was back home does not happen. And we make sure that we are the voice for the people who don't have a voice. Thank you.
It's a movement, is what it is. Rock the Indigenous Vote is a movement about Indigenous people in this country and the ability to enact their right to vote in this federal election.
So what's going to happen here tonight?
Tonight, there's going to be a gathering. We're expecting at least 300 people to show up for a round dance. We're calling it a flash mob round dance. And the reason being is that we just put the call out over 24 hours ago. And so within the 24 hours, we've had 300 people through social media say that they're going to attend. So we're looking forward to Indigenous and non-Indigenous people attending. And so it's going to be a really good time to come together as the Indigenous community from all over the place. There's people from Northwest Territories here, there's people from Saskatchewan here, there's Albertans, so we have people from all over. And there's a national conference going on missing and murdered people. And so the focus on that, of course, there's Indigenous women that have gone missing or murdered, and over 1,200 in this country. So that's one of the things we're looking at as a part of some of the issues that we're facing as Indigenous people in this country. It's really important because we, for the first time historically, haven't voted in federal elections. We realize we have a voice, and we're going to use our vote to put people in that are going to assist with our causes and Canadians' causes, which is climate change. You know, you look at water and food security, that's issues that all Canadians are concerned about. And so we need to enact our right. It was only until 1960 that we actually were given the right to vote. So we need to, as Indigenous people, get out there and vote for a political party that's going to assist us in implementing, for instance, the UN Declaration on Indigenous Rights, and also looking at ways of also a national inquiry into missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls. And so these are the things that we're looking at as a people, you know, that are high on the priority list.
You know, as Indigenous people, what we have for us that's the strongest is our culture. And within our custom, it's about being collective. It's about standing together. It's about working together. And as we stand here today, our goal here today is what? We want to rock the Indigenous vote, eh? It's here. You know, in our country, we've had relationship with the government. For many years, the relationship has been in a way that the government has always told us what was good for us. Were they right? No. So what we need to do is we need to redefine what this relationship is. And we need everyone to come up, to stand up, to take that action, to take a step forward, to get yourself registered and vote. We want to make sure that when we have an opportunity right now, we want to create a vote, and we need to create a vote strong enough that we have a voice in Ottawa. To have a voice in Ottawa allows us to be heard. And so that's important for us. So I encourage you all to come out to vote, to get registered, to vote, and, you know, choose the best candidate. Choose the one that's going to help us create the change that we want. So with that, I want to welcome you to this Treaty 6 territory. This place has always been a gathering place for Indigenous people. It belongs to all of us. And we share it together in a beautiful way. So with that, thank you very much. I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening.
I don't know if you can hear me, but hello everybody. I'm Cree, and I'm from Hobima, Musqueam, but I live in the United States. And I worked 2 presidential elections, and guess what we did? We got a black guy elected. Yeah! But we went further. The president employed Indian people right in the White House. We can have people in the House of Parliament, in the Prime Minister's office. Yeah. You know what we did? We did a push in Indian country. We said, now's our time. Right now is our time to be heard. Right now. This moment is going to pass. This is our time. This is our election to take back. Your voice matters. All of you that can vote, put your hand up. Woo! Yeah! All of you can establish a new government. All of you tell the government what you want. You tell the government. This is your trust responsibility. Don't wait for them. You tell them. It's our time to act right now. Let's get this done, everybody. Yeah!
Alberta, so not too far away.
And you're
louder. All right. I flew in to town, so I'm glad that I could make it for this event. It's really important that we all unite together right now because the election time is very crucial for us. what you've seen so far for the past 10 years is nothing good. Nothing good for us, nothing good for First Nations people and also other Canadians. The government failed us. I feel that the government wasn't created to work for us, it was created to work against us. And even with the murdered and missing Indigenous women, the fact that our Prime Minister right now doesn't consider our women a priority shows what he thinks of us. It shows how little he thinks of us. So I'm glad that I'm speaking up for our women. I'm glad that people are actually listening, and we just recently launched an inquiry on our own. The government hasn't launched an inquiry, so this is something I did with the Chiefs of Ontario. We launched our own, so if you want to donate to this inquiry that we were putting together, it's called Who Is She? whoisshe.ca is where you can go and donate. I also think that it's really important for our young people to vote. I think it's important for you guys to educate yourselves on what all the parties have to offer. And I think it's important that we do unite, we do stand up for our rights, we fight for what we need to fight for. Because all the bills that are being passed, the fact that we're being treated like terrorists, that we can't even fight for our own land, our own rights, our water, our environment is at stake with the government that we currently have. And these are things that we need to fight for. This isn't just a First Nations problem. This is a Canada problem. Yeah!
Gandhi ji, Jindabad. Gandhi ji, Gandhi ji, Jindabad.
When I come to events like this, you know, you often look at the person or the object that we're gathered for, but I hope in these few minutes as we're together that we'll also turn things around and we'll look the other way and we'll say, what if we looked at our city through the eyes of Mahatma Gandhi and we looked out around? Where would we see actions of peace happening? Somebody that's assisting a homeless person that has nowhere to spend the day inside the library. Somebody that's spending time with an elderly person in the Chinese seniors home down the street. Somebody that's giving a newcomer directions at the bus station on the other side of the library. All around us, we have the opportunities to be part of those little daily actions of peace. And that's what we take away from us. After our few minutes here together, we take away that reminder that we don't have to go very many steps before we'll encounter a chance to put into practice the teachings of Mahatma Gandhi and make it more than just a commemorative event, but make it the creating of a city.
Canada, one of only 2 countries to do so, have stated in our Constitution at Article 1 that rights are not absolute, but that the boundaries of our citizenship must adapt and adjust. We also believe that we as citizens can be better, kinder, gentler, more giving, and more equal. Fairness has eluded us in the past, but we're getting better at respect and inclusion. Refocusing on